I know now that my wife has become host to a Kandarian demon. I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
It's truly frightening.
This isn't a plan.
Gives you a home.
Oh man, I got this. Big love for me too, man. Yeah.
Oh, it's summertime, and you know what that means. The kids are out of school, everybody's booking their vacations, and a lot of them is going to the beaches. And tonight it's going to be kind of a shark theme event. But first up, before we start getting there, I know I jumped in, I get thrown off when we're missing one. I'm Joe, and this is my brother, the villain. How you doing tonight?
I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. Was it a nibble or was it a bite?
It's gonna be like we were both kind of because we saw the trailer for this one. We were like, we gotta check this one out, so we had to make sure to watch it. So, what are we talking about? Well, what happens when a serial killer uses the perfect killing machine? You get Sean Burns' Dangerous Animals, and I did not have the damn names in front of me. It was released June 6, 2025, written by Nick Lepard, and it stars Hassie Harrison as Zephyr, Josh Houston as Moses, and Jay Courtney of Spartacus and Captain Boomerang fame as Tucker. So a man uses his dive with sharks. I'm telling you right now, I've already had this as one of those things that I'm not ever going to do.
No.
But a man uses his dive with sharks to cover up something sinister. But before we dive into the movie, let's say a quick hello to everyone. Step. Did I not hit it? Oh. We got Adam M. Hola. What's up, Adam? Oh, we're going on a boat this weekend, and I think I done damaged him having watched 4 shark movies in like a matter of in a week. So Ricky Grimes, my beer brother. Salute.
Bro.
Miss you. Get better. And the 4th corner, Lexi, who at the end of the episode, I'll let you know what movie we're going to be doing next week that Lexi is going to be joining us. Hey, Lexi, thanks for joining. Oh, yeah, Ricky's sick, obviously. That's why he's not here. And of course, I'm going to mention Captain Boomerang. I mean, I said Spartacus first because he was, Spartacus' best friend. And actually, that's where I first got introduced to him. So he's been around for a bit, but it's nice for him to do something maybe just a little bit different than the normal. All right, with that, yeah, so JR, go ahead and either throw the chum in or reel in that shark.
All right, this is what I'm gonna say to first start off. Yeah, we were looking forward to this film, and just like a lot of shark films, just like a lot of horror films, for some reason, people decide to let's do a backstory, let's do a foundation for a relationship that by the end of the movie we just don't give a fuck about. So that's gonna be my biggest knock on this film is what do we care about two people who met, had a one night stand, and then somehow the dude becomes infatuated where he's gonna eventually risk his life to save her, which is sorry, bro, she ghosted you. She took off. But for me, there was a lot of things in this film that had promise, but Jay Courtney is the star of this film. Jay Courtney should have been more in this film. And we should not have. I think it was like you had the cold open and that's about between 7 to 10 minutes with the tourist couple. Then after that, we go into a couple that we just don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about the backstory. And one of the things too is, all right, if you're gonna have some kind of emotional character in this film, and the character fails, just completely fails, that's a major problem. Because I don't know about you, but I could care less about Zephyr. There was nothing about her character that made me go yay, because we were so invested in the relationship that if you're gonna give a backstory, give a little bit more backstory on her character, why she is the way she is. And for me, yeah, I mean, we needed more sharks,
Yeah.
a lot more sharks. And for a film that's the premise of a guy called the Tucker Experience, and not experience as many sharks as we wanted to, that is another thing that, once again, these shark films have a habit of doing. And this is the problem with making new shark films. The sharks, if it's a shark film, but I understand the premise of a serial killer, they both should be intertwined even more. And I just feel like I like this character, Jay Courtney. I like Tucker. He was freaking awesome. I mean, obviously he doesn't like dogs. Well, one particular dog. But for me, it's just I don't know. I just feel like they wasted so much opportunity on this couple that you didn't care about. And then even at the movie ends, you still don't care about. And
Yeah.
the fact that I wanted to know more about Tucker, why he did what he did, what was his motives behind it. It wasn't really explained. I don't want to hear about the cheap ass line. Oh, you have mommy issues. I don't want to hear that. That's just this movie didn't need that line. And the same,
Uh,
it needed more him. And I feel like they sunk the film because they decided not to feature him as much as they should, or feature the whole backstory. I don't know about you. I mean, did you want to hear more about all the tapes?
yeah. I mean, that was like so with the title Dangerous Animals and the premise that you have, like I said in the beginning, a serial killer who is using the perfect killing machine to basically leave no trace. Any parts that are found, they got killed by a shark. A human didn't do it. And you had the open with the couple, and then he quickly killed the guy. And I'm like,
Mm.
all right, well, he's a serial killer, so I get that he killed the guy. But I'm sorry, I'm a gore whore. I want to see shit. And I thought I had this premise. Even the poster, when you see all the long trail of blood, it for me, I thought you were going to be seeing, obviously him just getting people and putting them. You saw from the trailer the whole harness part, so you kind of knew that was going to be in there. But I wanted to see more of Tucker as a serial killer. Like I wanted to see more couples, or even if it's a group shows up and then he can somehow, flirt with one to make that one stay behind, or just something. And as soon as it went to Zephyr, I'm like, all right, but if they would have interjected, wait, what's the right word?
Intertwined them.
Intertwine, putting in some of the kills somewhere along the way. If you're going to see the couple having these things like their interactions on the radio or drive by something discussing that people are missing, because yes, Tucker was taking people who nobody knew where they went. And it's not like they were like homeless people, vagrants. There are people on vacation who didn't tell anybody this is what they were going to go do. So people would still search for their family and friends. So I think the movie could have had a little bit of letting, especially some people like Zephyr, if you're going to have somebody who is a strong character that's going to be able to fight Tucker, still have where she somehow knows that they're talking about all these people missing. And then when she gets taken, she goes, "You're the reason why people," you know what I mean? And it was just like, and the same, like, I don't know about you. I mean, me, I could say there have been some one night stands where you feel like this magic. I'm not about to get on a fucking boat to go rescue you. The magic will
Oh,
not be that strong. I promise you. I might call, but as you said, once I'm ghosted, we're done. But me actually search and then get on a boat and then see that she's there, it was just like, I don't know. Like I expected a little bit more, and I felt like with the premise that they had, they dropped the chum.
see, I think what happened too was that they rushed the story, the couple story too. Not if they would have did something where she keeps bumping into Tucker throughout her day or on different day occasions. Because one of the biggest things, the two biggest things I hated in this film was you have a serial killer that's around. There's not one mention ever in any newscast, anything
So I'm
about
saying,
any serial
yeah,
killer.
nothing.
Two is you get this story where he's talks in the beginning about that he got attacked by a shark, and he has the marks on his his rib cage basically. And then you fast forward to the end of the film, and you show this great white that he was almost expecting, and then you have the shark with the same bite mark on its side. So when I was watching, Priscilla was like, "Hold up."
Oh, I noticed it, but what you're about to say, I did not put together in my head.
Priscilla was like, "Hold up. Why couldn't they just have drawn a connection between that was the shark that attacked him when he was a kid? He's been looking for that one shark the whole time, and it would have made a better storyline. But it's just they spent so much time with Zephyr. I don't even know the dude's name because I didn't even care, to be honest.
Moses.
It's that dude was just it was so bad. And then to top it off, the best scene in the whole film is where they should have had more of, and that's when Heather's getting destroyed by the bull sharks.
Yep.
That was a great scene if you want something like shock value, because sharks were tearing into her, and then the next day you see like the top of her head floating in the water. Then it goes to underwater, and just from her collarbone up is left. That's what we needed more of. I wanted more of that. And the funny thing is, you didn't realize he was watching the videos till he watched the Heather video, because when he had Zephyr trapped and he was watching in the video, the whole time you're thinking that those were them yelling downstairs, but it's actually a video he was watching from another person he killed. So it's just they wasted these little opportunities they had. Zephyr, you could have left her for later on.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he could have built up a kill count the whole time. Like, not for nothing. When he's seen the hippie girl, you're like, what the hell is he going to do to her? And you kind of wanted to see what he was going to do to her. And it's just like, why totally waste the great premise of this film over a fucking relationship? And if you people like happy endings, you got a fucking happy ending in this one, which is total fucking bullshit.
You hate your happy endings in horror.
I hate happy endings in horror.
Well, when we discuss the other movies, I'm going to mention something that we watched, which actually for me was a little bit better as far as if you're going to do a story in there. The tape part is the other thing, is that it would have been good if the movie built it up, you seeing him doing the killing. I don't know. Let's do the movie was how long? I think it was an hour
38 minutes.
Hour 38. Let's do 30 minutes of seeing Tucker as a serial killer. You know what I mean? And maybe just happenstance on one of the nights that he's trolling, looking for a victim, he bumps into Zephyr. And they have like she makes some smart comment to him, but because he's got his sights on another target, when she just happens to go to his truck, and then he recognizes her, that'd be like, oh, that's that fucking girl from that night.
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what I mean? Like that, but it did waste so much time on the Moses and Zephyr story. And I will say though, I did like Zephyr's character in a sense that at least she wasn't meek, whereas Heather kind of had just given up, and she was smart. And that her character grew up in foster care, so she's street smart. She knows how to get out of situations. She's obviously, she lives in this van. She's gotten, because I don't even know what country she was from, because I know that Heather was from England, but
they never really said what she was from. She just moved. She just moved there.
So I don't know if she was from the States or she was from New Zealand, because her English, while English like ours, every once in a while sounded English from another English speaking country. I don't know how you say that, but hopefully that's the right way to say that. But yeah, it's just I don't know. The thing is, I didn't hate the movie. I hate the most that they just didn't use what was a good idea, and having these two killers work together, and give us gore, like you said.
What was the biggest ball they dropped in this whole film? See where they had the most potential for carnage.
When he had Moses and her tied up.
The party boat.
Oh yeah, there's that
You know
one.
how badly I wanted him to get on that party boat and just fuck everybody up and just basically sink the ship. And there's all his victims. There's his like wait, it's dramatic. He had this line he used. He wanted like the best all time footage ever. Imagine that if it was that party boat that brought the Great White, because that's another thing in this movie that got me mad. I mean, how you have a Great White looking at somebody and all of a sudden I'm just gonna swim by you. You're trying to attack her prior, but now that she's in the water, holding the thumb that which Priscilla got nauseous in that part where she gnawed her
Oh my
freaking.
god. I will say
I,
that's
I
out of
that was
the
crazy.
gnarliest thing in this movie is that because I was like, "Oh god." And the theater was mildly full for this one. And the person that were down, being the person that were like, I think she was like 3 seats down. When she's sitting there like trying to break it, we're both like in our seats, like I can just see us both. And then when she starts doing that, we're both like, I'm sitting there like, oh my god, and I'm like, how have I not seen this in a movie before?
And you hear
Like,
sound effects.
oh, the crunching, it was, oh man, like then I'm like, that's a fucking brilliant idea. Like the only problem is, some people are gonna get arrested, and especially if they're like high on a bunch of shit, they're like, I could just fucking get my thumbs out, they're not gonna feel it. Um, but yeah, but well, and then when you mentioned the hippie, it would have been good because he was there on a mission for something that when he saw her, his killer instinct kicked in. And
Yeah.
just like a shark gets distracted what the original goal was and goes in for a kill, him grab her, even say, I'm gonna save you. You've pissed me off so much, but I still need to kill somebody, and get her. And the other thing is because he knows his knowledge of sharks, and there's different types of sharks all along the coast. He could have, as he's grabbing different people, been taking them to different spots. So we could have gotten, he went by Makos, bull sharks, great white. You could have gotten the variety of sharks involved in the kills to, because again, it's animals, it's plural. So yes, it is two, but give us more. Like there should just to think that somebody would use their boat as a way to, say, I'm going to give you this great time. And the scene, though, when they went underwater, that was pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there was a lot of stock stuff, but for about 10 seconds, I can say, all right, maybe I would do that. And then my logic brain goes, fuck you, you idiot. Some big shark's going to hit that thing.
Yeah.
You're going to drop down like 45 meters below, whatever, 45 meters below, right?
47 meters down.
47 meters down. And no, you're not going to do something like that. But just for the moment, because, and seeing it in theater, I will say it was pretty cool because, you're seeing in theater, so your screen's huge. So it gave you the vastness of the ocean and them looking at them. That was a pretty cool, like, shot. If they shot that for the movie and that actually happened, that was pretty fucking awesome. But not a fan of Zephyr and the Great White face to face. And I feel we've seen that before.
Seen it too many times.
Yeah. And the problem is that when you do a scene like that, I think almost always then the people survive. So you pretty much are letting your audience know this is your final man or final woman,
Yeah.
the one that faces off the shark. So yeah, it's like hopefully somebody goes, I'm just gonna write my own movie. I know
I
they're gonna
sat
say I
there.
rip it off.
I sat there and thought about so many different concepts for this film. The fact that you have a boat, you're a serial killer. Do you really want to stay docked in one area? It's Australia. So many different, like you're saying, the variety of sharks. He could have went to different ports across Australia, killing people as he went. If he would have did that with Zephyr in the boat, and he's just bringing different people on, her witnessing all the different people he's bringing on, her witnessing all the kills he's doing, because at one point in the film, you actually think he's fond of her to the point where you have that slight, man, is he trying to turn her a little bit?
He
And
appreciated her because
yeah.
she was like him.
And I told Priscilla, I was like, man, that would have been cool if at the end of the movie she carried his legacy because she was a loner and stuff. I mean, you had so many different directions you could have taken in this film, and I just feel like they took the lazy way out of, yeah, let's build a love story around the serial killer, and then we'll just have the sharks come in whenever we need them. which is a total waste of time. As for now, I'm not saying I hated the film. I did think it was enjoyable to certain points. Yeah, I would definitely watch it again to see if there's something I missed, something that they could have did more of. Like I felt bad when he killed his the old man.
The old man was well, it's funny. I thought that the old man was in on it
I did too.
at that point. So I like that he wasn't in on it. And I think the dog was barking at him because dogs can sense evil. And he
Yeah.
was like, you're an evil motherfucker. Like, don't be coming over to this boat. But yeah, the poor old man.
Fuck Tuck, and then he just fucking died. And then when he died with the hook, and he just like leans forward and just digs in even more.
That was horrible. That again, you missed a lot of cool opportunities. Like when he got Heather, if he would have, if they would have gotten the leg and then he would have lifted it up just to see again, this is horror, people.
Yeah.
Don't think I'm sick for saying this. You wanted to see it too. But so when he would lift her up and you see the leg missing, she's freaking out and screaming and blood's just dropping down, getting the other sharks more, and then just slower her down again. See, like, and yeah, to see her get kind of ripped up, like sharks rip, sharks tear. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see like basically sharks in variety,
Yeah.
basically tearing flesh apart. All right, before we go to our score, and Adam says you had to build a story. It was pretty horrible in a good way, though. I know that he too was not a fan of the story. I mean,
No, there was no need for it.
no, because it was as you said, it was really forced. Like we were supposed to expect that this one night stand, magical night that they had inside the back of a van, that they connected so much. Again, I've had magical moments, and at one point in time, the following day, did I go, I should find out where they are? No. I mean, that's what those are called. They're called magical moments. They're not get on a fucking boat and get yourself killed by a serial killer.
I mean, he made her breakfast, and even then, she was like, "I'm a loner."
Well, and that's what I like I said, he saw Zephyr as similar to him. There were loners, but she's a fighter. And and that's why, like you mentioned, if he would have kept her captive, can you imagine being kept captive and watching victim after victim coming in? And just for you to know that at some point in time, it'll be your turn.
There's actually a movie, serial killer movie called Chained, and it has Vincent D'Onofrio. So, I know I'm going off tangent, but if you guys want to watch a serial killer film, but in the film, he's a serial killer who kills the mother of an 8-year-old and holds the 8-year-old in captivity for 10 years. Why the kid watches him do everything he does. I would have liked almost the same thing, like not keep Zephyr 10 years, but
I'm saying that it would have been 10 years, but yeah, and like just at least a couple of them in there, and just build, because obviously he was finding an admiration for her, he was finding a respect for her, because she would not stop fighting back. So like for that put his instinct going, and again, I would have liked to have seen Moses get eaten. I would have been okay with it. I wasn't as connected as you said. I like the character Zephyr because she wasn't meek, like your typical, she gets caught, begging. She was smart, she was clever, she was manipulative, she was fucking MacGyver. I mean,
and she felt empty. That's the thing. She felt empty. Like she didn't feel like even those scenes where she's trying to be all emotional, it didn't translate well. And it's just one of those things where she had a couple lines where like when she wakes up and Heather's chained up. Oh my god, what the fuck is it? It's just some of her lines weren't believable, and it just drove me crazy. I wanted more of her feeling more. I mean, you could be tough as nails, but at the same time, you have that emotionality that you throw into your character, and it just didn't feel. The whole time I'm watching, who she reminded me of? Julia Stiles, because Julia Stiles had that acting. I'm not knocking, sorry, Julia Stiles, but you had a certain acting in certain films where it just didn't feel emotional, and you felt like there's certain times in the film her emotion should have been there, and it just felt Like she couldn't make herself cry.
No.
Tropic Thunder. She can't make herself cry.
Well, actually, before we go to the rate, just let's talk about the end though, because I gotta say, it felt. I know what you did last summer. Like I hate to say this, but with the whole ending, it just felt so. I know what you did last summer, and then for him to get speared, and I know how much you hate CGI with
Oh
sharks.
God, that was terrible.
They were pretty good. And then that point hit. I went, oh, JR is not gonna like that scene. Especially when it comes up, he's still in there. Like, but yeah, I for me, that's the other part. The way that it ended, it felt very, I know what you did last summer. Like how the two characters are trying to get off. And I think there was a spear, and I think they speared him, if I remember right, before he gets hit. But yeah, that's another part. Great premise, and then you kind of gave it your typical weak, bad CGI shark ending.
Oh God, yeah, terrible. And then to top it off, Moses gets stabbed in the spleen, and I'm sorry, you would have died a long time ago.
Yeah, he would have been dead.
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and give your score.
So I'm just gonna give it a 3. I mean, I know I bashed the crap out of the movie, but I still think Jay Courtney's still carried the film when the scenes he was in. I liked his character. I liked the way he was. I feel like the one scene when he throws Heather in there is the best scene in the whole movie, because you see how he enjoys watching everything. You see all the different camera angles he was taking, how he enjoyed watching to see the life come out of her eyes. And then I think his character was so good, so well done, that that's what bogs down this whole film. Because if I could go, when I rewatch this film, I'm actually going to time how long he was actually in the movie, because I feel like the whole movie should have been him for a 3. I mean,
Yeah.
great premise, but fucking relationships.
Before I get my score, hold on. Adam says, "The power of love, gentlemen. You can't fall in love in one night, but okay. I mean, I guess you can, but that doesn't work for everybody. Not enough to get on a boat
No, hell no.
and try to save somebody. It's not that strong." Geez, you guys are being negative. We're not. We're being positive. We're trying to say that the movie is not terrible. It's a good idea. And with the power of love, because I'll mention the one that we had watched a couple of movies, like I said, and we just watched one that I was like, all right, I kind of like the way that this one was, even though it had the story, but it had the thing about the sharks things.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, oh man, like I said, I just want it's a serial killer movie. How is my body count in a serial killer movie 3? I mean, is that grim of me? Maybe. Am I okay with that? Totally. Because I went to go see Dangerous Animals. I wanted to see carnage. I mean, we're talking about sharks. You can see the damage that they can do. I wanted to see more of that. And I wanted to see Jay Courtney's Tucker. I can't even do it. Like, his character is so good. I was trying to practice an Australian accent to do it. Tucker. But just the way he says his name, just the way he talked, it was just, he was great on the screen, and the guy was so disheveled and horrible looking too, which was even great. But I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I got to give it more just for Jay Courtney on that, obviously, because again, it's just, if you haven't seen the movie, sorry we spoiled it for you. But if you watch almost shark movies, I don't know, you got 5 people, 4 dead. So, I mean, this one still had a very low count when you're talking about a serial killer. Right or wrong, JR?
All right, yeah. Too low of a count.
So, with that, let's go ahead and transition to the fact. Oh. Yes, I feel really bad for what I have put Adam through this week, because I said to him, I was like, oh, all right, so we're doing Dangerous Animals. And he was so confused going, which one's the review? Because we had what? I'm like, Dangerous Animals is the review. And after that, we're just going to, any movies we've seen, discuss them. Not discuss in a, like, rate type of thing. But if you've seen something, if you we'll go one. I've seen 3 this week, so and I think you and I have 1 together.
Yeah.
No Way Up.
No Way Up.
You want to knock that one out first?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty interesting one. I mean, it gives you so if you've never watched No Way Up, is a 2024 film, and in the film, you have a bunch of people on the plane. The plane crashes into the water, and it just happens to land right at the edge of this ravine underwater.
Phew.
So now you're battling time. Not only that, there just happens to be, which I think they were bull sharks. They were bull sharks or tiger sharks are outside the water, but I think it was like almost 75 feet underwater they were at.
Something like that. They were pretty dead. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, it has some good shark kills in it. I mean, some of them are off screen, but there's one in particular where they're basically in the air bubble. Well, the air that has the most oxygen, and one person goes in the water, all you see is just the blood. They're getting ripped to shreds.
oh yeah.
But it was a different premise. It was definitely different, and I think I'm not saying it's a great film either, because once again it's kind of one of more sharks there. But even though the shark kills were kind of more meaningful in that one, especially when the rescue team comes in and
Oh.
gets fucking wiped out. What that was a good concept. What would you do if you are trapped 75 feet underwater in an airplane on the edge of this trench?
Trench. That's how. When you said it before, I was trying to remember. There's a word, but they were on
Yeah.
the edge of a trench.
I mean, that one I would give a 3.5 because I thought it was different from other shark films we've seen. I mean, what would you give that one?
Actually, I'd probably give it 3.5. Also, I will say this. You know how much I love Final Destination, and Final Destination has 2, because you have to count the first one, and then you get it in 5 with airplanes. The fucking airplane sequence when
Yeah.
oh my fucking god, I was actually more anxious during that time, and it was so much better than the Final Destination ones. I mean, this is kind of what you would have wanted to have seen.
Yeah.
So the whole it was just insane. But this was another one. It sucked because you actually had some likable characters.
Mhm.
I could not stand the boyfriend and his friend.
Oh no.
And I don't know if it was the actors themselves or just the
It was the
way.
actors. Those their lines were just the greatest for them two characters.
Well, and Jed, the boyfriend, if you listen, every once in a while he forget that he was supposed to be speaking in an American English accent. So some words, and like, so when you know that, and I didn't know until after, but it was clear that it was an actor who speaks, I guess, the proper English. It kept coming in and out, and that kept throwing me off. And his best friend was an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, so here's the one thing that I loved about this one. I go, finally, thank God, a black woman and a gay man survived a horror movie. Like, those are not ever the good chances for a character in a movie. And you had this one movie where the 2 characters, well, and the little girl,
Yeah.
but it it was good to see, especially Danilo, who had to deal with both of the guys. They were both being assholes to him, and that dude was kicking more ass and was more braver than them. But yeah, like, listen, I hate flying. I think it was Airport 77, one of the one of the airplane movies that it lands in the water, is where we started watching our what you call it, the natural disasters.
Yeah.
So I did read that the people who did No Way Up, this was an homage to the Poseidon Adventure. And when you're gonna, instead of just doing a boat that capsizes and like giving us ad nauseum the same story, and doing a plane that goes down and I guess capsizes because it goes in, and I like that was their inspiration, but that was their inspiration to write a whole other type of different than the Poseidon Adventure. And Colm Mean, wait, Colm, the guy who played the bodyguard, he's
Oh,
been in
he's been
he
around.
has been in so many fucking movies. So I was like sitting there going, I'm like, oh, he's in this movie. All right. Because other than that, I didn't know anybody else.
Yeah, which I
And
like that. I
I
like
did
unknown
too.
actors.
I love the grandma
Yeah,
that her and the husband met at the war. She pulled the shrapnel out of his ass. But when she was like sitting there to, fix the guy's arm and then help Jed, I'm like, I love that
yeah,
this little old lady, because in some because I consider this a little bit more on the natural disaster side. You just had a problem with sharks.
yeah.
So if that's why it's a good movie though in that sense, because it depends what category you want to watch. If you want to look at it as a shark movie, it is shark. But if natural disaster, it's a natural disaster. Say hello to a couple of people here real quick. P Rock, I love sharks more than humans. What's up, P Rock? Oh, and I'm never flying again. I liked it. Adam did like No Way Up.
It's a very underrated film.
Yep. Actually, the actor in the thumbnail is Captain Boomerang. It is. Yes, he's the serial killer in Dangerous Animals. They have
He's
better
about to
chance
get.
of
He's talking about the gay. The gay.
Yeah. Hey, he was a double. He was gay and Hispanic. So hope that I listen. Danilo, especially when he was like that, like he sat there and just remember where all the shit was, and I love to see, especially since the boyfriend and the friend were falling apart. Like
Yeah.
they're supposed to be when she's putting her head in the water to look. But meanwhile, your boyfriend is standing on the seats because he doesn't want to go in the water. And she said how brave he was for helping me. I'm like, did you not see that he did not get into the water? He only got into the water because he fell in there. But yeah, the poor scuba guys. I would have liked to have seen the other scuba guy though, because they
Yeah.
didn't show it.
No.
But that was a pretty cool scene. You're like, because they're all sitting there all happy, and all of a sudden they're like, behind you. He's like,
Yeah.
but then he
fucked up.
actually turned around because you're sitting there going, oh shit. Which angle is it? Is it coming from the side? Is it coming from the top? But yeah, no, I would definitely recommend you would recommend that one.
Oh yeah, definitely recommend No Way Up.
Well, we'll go hit miss instead of saying like hit miss. So you hit.
So which are the other ones you watch? See if I watch them.
Well, no, so that one's a hit to say to watch it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So, and most of these are on Hulu. I did The Last Breath, and that is. Did you watch that one?
I watched that one.
I thought those were a bunch of fucking idiots. First of all, and that's the other thing that I'm a little tired of in shark movies is the obvious bad decisions.
Yeah.
The movie was so marred with tropes and stuff. I think one of the things I had laughed at because I had looked up some of the stuff on the movie is that people went air pockets. Somebody's like, that shit's been down there. There'd be, you know what I mean? Like there was a logical stuff in it. But the other part that some of these shark movies, so why Jaws is, and Jaws 2, because remember, it carries on the same character. Why these movies are so good, your main characters are likable, relatable people.
Yeah.
If in your movie, you're going to put so many unlikable people, you already know the unlikables go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're like the last one I'll talk about did that differently, which is why like it was a lot more a different experience, even though it reminded me of another movie. But the characters, I just didn't like any of them. I couldn't stand the friend who is basically supposed to be his friend, but all on the way he wants to humiliate him because he's not good enough for his sister.
Yeah.
You know, the probably worst crime of this movie, it is Julian
Julian Sands.
Julian Sands' last release movie. There is another movie if you go on IMDb, but this is his last one. However, the way he went was kind of like a fitting way of him saying goodbye and fuck you type of way.
Uh,
But you had somebody who tells his story who, because he survived the Charlotte drowning, right?
yeah.
That's okay. So he survived that, which again, they took the story from Jaws
Are you
because
talking about the Indianapolis?
yeah, it isn't well no, because what he was on a boat that went down.
Okay, okay.
And in Last Breath, he was on a boat that went down, and sharks basically killed a bunch of them, and he survived it. And he went on to still stay in the water, but he stopped and he put his stuff away. He was known as the Red Torpedo because of how fast he was. And when he goes in to save, like she's trying to go, and all of a sudden you see the red go in the water. I'm like, oh no, is this what we did to Julian Sands on his last movie? And then you see him go like this, and he's like, and then the shark gets him, and like the CGI on the sharks wasn't horrible while they were somehow it wasn't horrible while where they were in there, but once they got to open ocean,
Yeah, they always get worse.
how's that fucking pop? How do you do good CGI in a small contained area, but out in the open ocean, you can make a shark look so fucking fake? Like, what'd you think of Last Breath?
I was a big fan of it. You know why? Because it's been those type of films have been done before. I'm tired of people going into the ships and stuff. I think there's like another two or three that almost the same premise. And it gets tiring seeing that because like the two I've seen were remind me so much of because I don't know if you've seen have you seen the Reef Stalked?
I saw the reef. I didn't see Stalked. I saw the reef.
The Reef Stalk is all right. The Reef is such a great film that it's just a tragedy. They decide we're going to do a sequel to that great film, and it's all just like females that go on vacation and they get basically a shark attacks and they're stuck in the ocean, and once again, shitty fucking decisions made. Like if you find an island and there's people on the island, why would you leave the island to go search for help? You're on a freaking island where people are capable of helping you. And your best decision, I'm going to get on this shitty ass boat to go back into the water. And if I have to fight the shark, I'll fight the shark. Terrible CGI. I mean, it's a massive miss. Did you see Great White?
Mm.
Don't even bother.
Oh no, there was another one that you had mentioned that you.
Shark Bait.
Yeah. Oh no, you're doing that one for no.
No,
Shark
no.
Night. Shark Night is the one you're doing for.
Yes.
Sorry, I
Shark
didn't mean
Bait.
to spoil that. There'll be a Shark Night episode coming to The Night Brings Horror.
Oh yeah. Me and Red had fun with that one, but no, the Shark Bait is once again group of friends. They decide to go get on with these wave riders, the jet skis. They go into the ocean. They decide to play a game of chicken, and they damage both of the jet skis, and they're stuck in the ocean. And lo and behold, there's a shark. That one was not a bad film, but once again, we've seen it plenty of times before. And I think that's the big struggle with shark films that people are
it's
just
hard to do.
they're stuck in the
different
ocean. Yes. This is where I think if you do, I don't know because there's actually this phenomenon that's been happening in Australia where bull sharks are actually swimming upstream into
the
fresh
rivers
water,
and
to lay their eggs. So they're going deeper and deeper into fresh water. Here's an opportunity for you shark riders, shark enthusiasts, filmmakers. They're wrestling about that. Bull sharks protecting. Yeah. So you have, and the thing is, it's almost over and over again the same thing, which I think it is hard to do a shark film. But for me, those are all misses. I mean, No Way Up probably is one of the better shark films. Dangerous Animals, I'll put it up there as one of the better shark films lately.
yeah. From all the ones we're talking now, yeah. Definitely.
Well, so which ones were the other ones you watched?
Actually, hold on one second. But So, if you were stranded in the ocean, who is the one person you wish you were stranded with? I'm gonna say that real quickly. That one gym bro, the one guy who thinks he's gonna kick ass, because that's the one I'm gonna go. Yeah, you should get him. You should go do that. So that way, while he's going to fight the fucking shark, I'm going the other way. And I can't swim good. I need to have a good chance to get away. What about you? Who would you want to be stuck with?
Ocean Ramsey. You know who she is?
Uh-uh.
So Ocean Ramsey, you guys can look her up. She's on Instagram. She's everywhere. Ocean Ramsey used to be a supermodel who decided she's going to quit supermodeling and be a shark conservationist. So she's actually swam with do you know who's Big Blue?
Mm-mm.
Big Blue is the largest female great white in the whole freaking world. She's like a
Oh.
25 feet. And Ocean Ramsey actually swam with her. Like literally swam with her, grabbed her dorsal, and so
Big
she
man.
knows her shit about sharks. So yeah, I think I'll be with Ocean Ramsey. Plus,
All right,
beautiful
hold on.
woman, what the way to go.
So Ricky Grimes would be stranded with P-Rock because he's got all the green. No, you don't. He's going to hold on to that green while he goes down. He's not going to hand you any of that. You won't even get any of that. I'm just messing with P-Rock. Bull sharks are crazy and super aggressive. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even with dangerous animals, like, like he knew his knowledge on. So P-Rock, don't become a serial killer. I just talked about this in my last episode. When you watch movies, don't fucking use this and become a serial killer. But yeah, no, like it would be, that movie would have done well with them using his knowledge of sharks, and on how he would have known they would have torn the person up. That would, oh my god, that would have fucking completely added to that. That's P-Rock with Ricky's comment about the green. Joe, Dr. Mindbender. Fuck you. I'm not bald, motherfucker. But I can see that. I just want to get eaten first.
See, Adam he'll be the one that survives.
Who, Adam?
Yeah, because he kept throwing stuff for the shark, and the shark goes, "I'm not gonna eat you, bro." Just
Adam will be like, as he sees they're going around everybody, he's like, I'm just gonna go this way and not let anybody know it's circling them, and then I'm gonna hide. He'll be like Homer Simpson in the shrubs. The one that we saw today, and actually it's kind of funny because June being Pride Month, in this one, it actually did have a couple. It's called Something in the Water, also on Hulu. And it's a group that we're still trying to figure it out. Actually, we don't know where they went. Wherever they went, sharks were there. But it's a wedding, and like the open starts with actually a bashing, we'll call it. And the character has PTSD. So these are the 5 friends. I forgot what I should have typed it down, but I forgot what they called themselves as the friends. And everyone has this one friend, and in our family it's called P-Rock, that would get a boat and then go out somewhere, just to show their friends a good time. And so they go off to this island, and literally while one of the characters, they're just hanging out, and sharks have been known to attack just at wastewater level. So she feels something and she's like, no, I think I'm okay. And then when she sees all this blood, obviously shock sets in, and she got bit by a shark. They get on the boat. As they're going back, both Adam and I are watching it going, the fucking rocks, the coral, the coral. Yep. The one person who shouldn't have been driving the boat, we've seen this in shark movies, hits the coral, the boat goes down. It had a bit of open water feel to it, which I actually really enjoy. Open water. I know it doesn't show you the whole shark thing, but the beauty of open water, actually, I would equate open water to how I equate Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not what you saw, it's what you imagined. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I'm not a big fan of open water. The first one. Wait, the second one was terrible.
I like the second one too, but I mean, I like
third one.
And thanks for watching that one, guys. That was doing pretty
thank you.
awesome. But no, and yes, you had a bit of a happy ending. because you had the couple reunite. But it was an all-female cast, and you had the one character, the way that she went down. I will say, if the filmmakers didn't decide to do it the way they did it, and I know Adam might say he liked it, she still went out with a fight, in a fight, and you actually got to see a person punch the shark. I haven't seen it. I know you see more than I do as far as sharks movies, but the shark was coming at her, and she's like sitting there. And as it jumped up, she punched the shark in the nose. I have not seen that in a movie, so I'm not gonna say I hated it, but because we've heard that before, and yet we haven't seen it in a movie, unless it's maybe a comedy. But actually, hold on, because a couple things I had said in the movie. So there's one character who couldn't swim, who would totally be me in this movie. Her father was the one that told her how to defend herself with a shark, and said, if you're in a situation, punch in the nose, go for the eyes, or go for the gills. And one of the other girls goes, "You guys live in Manchester." She goes, "I know, but with global warming, we'll have sharks soon." And I was like, God, that's stupid, but kind of fucking funny. And then when the sharks started surrounding them, one girl goes, "What kind of shark is that?" The other one goes, "A bitey one." You know what? That's a logical answer to answer at that moment. Like, what kind of fucking shark? It's gonna fucking bite us. That's kind of shark. So, yeah, that one I liked it. It did have the happy ending. It did give a feel of The Shallows, because at some point
Oh,
one
The
of the
Shallows.
characters gets on like the rock to try to like get away from it. But it was actually out of No Way Up and Something in the Water. In the when you're building characters that we knock Dangerous Animals because we didn't like the story, we didn't like the characters, right? This one, you actually like, you were like, "Oh no, at least they're all gonna,"
Yeah.
they're like, and you don't want them to die. So that was that. So yeah, Something in the Water on Hulu. And actually, I would give that one a 4, because it is, yes, at the end, it's another one that it went against the standards, because you had a lesbian couple survive this one. So that's where this one gets the bit of an up for me. Any other one you saw?
No, I mean the ones I recommend, definitely, I mentioned it. I mean, if you want to watch something, different, open water, 3, Cage Dive, because it doesn't have a happy ending, which is right up my alley. But it's the only shark film ever done on as a found footage film. So I recommend that one. But yeah, I mean, like I just, what it is, when you watch shark films, you go in with very low expectations, and the goal is, all right, just lift me up a little bit more until I say I like the film. And unfortunately, very few films actually have the look of realistic sharks, and I think that's why we like the reef so much, because that fucking shark was
Yeah,
so
that was
realistic looking.
yeah. Reef
Wow.
Reef is probably, besides Jaws and Jaws 2, probably one of the, like, it's probably would be, at least for me, number 3 on anything involving sharks in a horror movie. I would, yeah, The Reef is fucking kick ass. Like, if you have not seen The Reef, shame on you.
But I think that's why I like the open water 3 too. There's only one scene that's CGI, but the rest of the scenes does remind you of the reef, as far as the fact that you do get to feel that, wow, they're really swimming with fucking great whites. So watch that film if you haven't watched it yet, and then watch a review on this channel. Keep hiking it up to views, but yeah.
All right, so let me hit the comments real quick. So the LOL is that Adam saying he'll get eaten first. P Rock, Adam, as you're Ian, I will swing away like Forrest Gump fronts. uh, I don't want to float around thinking about how I'm going to die. Imagine being the last one floating. So that was another thing in the movie, because it changed it. So this is where I would say, if you watch the movie, you're gonna the
Which
Something in the
one?
Water,
Okay.
Something in the Water. It lacked shark.
But you know what? In Dangerous Animals, they had that one scene that pissed me the hell off, where she jumped off to escape from him and she swam into the party boat. Not one single shark in the water.
Without, yeah, and considering that, yeah, I know. Even though that was actually a pretty good scene, because you're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, she's gonna make it, she's gonna make it, and damn, these party people must have been fucked up to
Oh, they're
not have
drunk as fuck.
seen a boat all of a sudden show up at their party and somebody
Mm.
screaming. All right. Oh, same one. If I'm getting killed, kill me first. I don't want to dehydrate, sunburn, or almost drown.
You will be alive. You won't even die, man.
That's
You're
it.
gonna
I
be a
know.
survivor,
They'll
man.
find Adam all blistered and shit.
Yeah.
Rick and son don't
No,
agree.
they don't.
So who's son?
I'll get burnt.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Rick, oh yeah, Rick Gilbert. Like a night walker. All right, there's a whole conversation going on in there. All right.
Oh, he's
So
asking us to be
Meg
like Meg.
2. All right. Oh, sorry, I hit it fast. I like the first Meg. I thought it was gonna be stupid, and it was, but it was stupid in a fun way.
Yes.
And I know that it will come after that, but I'm just gonna say the Meg 2. I felt the Meg 2, they were trying to kind of capitalize a little bit of how some of the what was it? Which one was it? The second or third one with Bryce Dallas Howard?
Just
And
the second one.
second one. The big that's what I thought of. Meg 2 made me think of an expansion on Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And we're now just showing, all these other, Jaws things. What do you think of the first and two? Do you see them both, or you only?
Yeah, I
see
saw them both. The first one I enjoyed. It wasn't to be taken serious. I mean, I like Rainn Wilson. I mean, Rainn Wilson is just freaking cool. I love him as Dwight in The Office. It was
You
kind
should
of
see
weird.
him on Mom.
He actually has for if you guys like like documentary style like reality shows. He has one that's really good on Peacock, where he finds the happiest and saddest countries in the world, and it's a really interesting film to watch. I mean, the series to watch. So I highly recommend that one. But no, I mean, it wasn't meant to be taken seriously, and it did what it needed to do. And I thought it was a fun film. Meg 2. I mean, I agree. It was like another thing with Jurassic Park, and I just thought that there was not really like a need for it. And I
No.
feel like what they should have just did is, if you're gonna do a Meg 2, you should have just stood at the Mariana Trench, because there's a lore about the Mariana Trench
Instead
that
of
people want to know about, instead of fucking dinosaurs coming back and all this bullshit. But yeah, if they would have stood at the Mariana Trench with, there's more of these, megalodons, and maybe there's something killing the megalodons. There's always something bigger in the ocean. But yeah, I think Meg 2, I mean, everybody raves about the when he kills it at the end, but you're like, come on, man. And then you got the one scientist dude that always wants to control animals and shit, and fucking guy.
yeah, like I just like the Meg 2. Like, yeah, no, not. But all right, hold on. Ricky says the Meg 2. Never
He
seen
gonna
it.
he gonna go
Skip
watch
it.
it now. Huh?
Skip it. Skip it. I promise you. Meg 1 was all right. Meg 1 was fun.
I think he's talking about your movie.
Yes. On the last one, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Like the thing is, it didn't rely heavily on everybody getting killed off so quickly. It was kind of like that feeling of like, oh God, who's next? And actually, out of all the things, it did have that one character. Actually, for the movies I've seen, it did have that one character who's thought of actually going, I'm going to swim to the coast and make it. And she made it. And the other part is that what was great in this movie is that because you wonder, is she getting there? So a fucking storm happens, and the character is just like they're in this something in the water. They had humor in there, which I appreciated, because the humor was that humor that you have when real life situations happen. So after boat goes down, the girl who got her leg bit, she dies, and they all realize we need to push her away. And then that's when you see the first shark, because obviously it gets the friend. And I lost myself how I was going. Damn it.
So while you're thinking about it, there's this one thing I was curious about all these shark films you watch, right? Nobody ever takes a shit in the water.
In this movie, they took a pee.
No, but I
What?
know why
I
people,
know. They
and
don't
I
take a
know,
shit.
and I know why they don't take a shit though.
Your ass is all fucking clenched because
No,
you don't
because if
die.
they take a shit, that's gonna attract fish. Then fish are gonna attract the sharks. I'm like, all right, see, there you go, another movie. Have somebody take a shit in the water.
So
You
the
see it.
girl, but in the movie, the girl goes, "I got to take a wee," and they were like, "Go ahead, I already did it." She's like, "Does it attract sharks?" And I sat there, and I'm like, "Huh, could be warm coming out of you, so you don't know it's gonna do that." All right, the little long one there. Okay, Sense on Shark Talk. Okay, Sense on Shark Talk. Did you guys enjoy Sharknado or any parts of the also, if or when did the series become too much for you? All right, so I'm gonna answer that one.
Mm.
To the Meg, that's where I was getting. So the Meg 2 with it actually fits this. The Meg 2 jumped the shark.
Mhm.
Like and it's out of all things for the movie to be fitting to what I have done, the Meg 2 jumped the shark. I actually love the Sharknado movies. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. They're so bad. They're so bad that they're so good. And that's the magic of the shark. So listen, when you do a movie that is so bad, you got to make sure that they're so bad that they're so good. I have seen all the Sharknado movies. I take no, yeah, I've seen them all.
I see the first one, and then I tapped out
Ah,
after
no, I've seen them all. I
that. I
mean,
tapped out after that.
they're ridiculous. They're stupid. They're stupid as fuck. I didn't, you know what, sci-fi, when sci-fi had done the first one and saw how well it did,
Oh, yeah.
that was probably the smartest decision of whoever on the channel. You know, the sci-fi is still around, actually. Yeah, it is.
Mm.
Whoever said this is so bad that it's so good that we need to do this. Yeah, no, I like. So you only saw two of them?
I only saw the first one. I couldn't tapped out after that.
Because the thing is, so the one thing about the Sharknado movies is that so many people, granted, no, not A-list celebrities,
Oh, yeah, B and C.
B, C-list,
Yeah.
everyone wanted to sign up, and the people who are writing it and doing it knew your stature depend on the kind of kill that you would get. That all these people are like, I want to do it. I want to get killed in Sharknado. And they would get the most ridiculous deaths. Like Adam and I, when we watched it, especially the first one, we're like, this is so stupid. And then halfway through the movie, we're like, this is so stupid. It's good. Can I pause it for a second? I'm gonna go smoke. I don't
Yeah,
mean
guys.
right now. I don't mean no, I
Oh,
don't mean right now
oh.
in the live stream.
All right, you're gonna just leave me by.
I have this. And so no, we're good. I meant in the movie, I go,
Oh.
I can we pause? I gotta go smoke real quick. Came back, and the Sharknado movies, because of that, there's like, if you're going to expect like serious, you're gonna fucking hate them. But if you're going for that cheesy, stupid fucking shit, it hits the points. They're so fucking ridiculous. But then it does beg to question that if a water spout gets strong enough to become a category 5, can it pick up the sea life in the ocean and start flinging them around? I don't think sharks, if that happens, are
No,
going to
because
go
they
be
would
like,
die right off the bat.
well, I'm saying they're not going to be like flying in. But no, the Sharknado movies, they're I actually, if you're a stoner, the Sharknado movies are great for stoners. All right. Once Kurt Angle showed up, I enjoyed Sharknado 1. The rest were way too over the top, even for me. That's a lot considering that this is the guy that got mad because we, jumped on Psycho Gorman.
Yeah, I know.
So for him to say that, yeah, that's actually pretty funny. Some good laughs. And yeah, they are. And that's the whole thing though. You get some good laughs. So bad it's good. Check them out. Go so good like P-Rock, go to your basement for like an hour and then go put the movie on. Yep, he was. Again, a lot of B. Oh.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone wanted to show up to get a moment to get killed off in Sharknado. And it's ridiculous as that sounds. That's what built that whole entire series. And it's Ian Ziering. I mean, Steve, right? He was Steve in 90210. Everyone who watched 90210 knows that Steve was not your favorite character. Like everybody liked everyone else. And and Tara Reid. And Tara Reid, anyways. So, all right, let me say, because we're going to sign off, even though there's a conversation going. I know.
Going.
Yep, Jared, go to, yep. All right. Any other shark movies?
No, I think that's it. I mean, if this is why I challenge people, because this is, and everybody knows I don't like PG-13 horror. But if you haven't watched The Shallows, watch The Shallows, because that is a great film where, yes, you get a certain thing with the shark, but that's actually a very good film that has a good main storyline, and I appreciate The Shallows. And as far as cinematography, one of the best shot shark films you'll ever see.
All right. I'm still sitting, besides, obviously, the king, the Jaws.
Yeah.
I'm Deep Blue Sea. I'm a Deep Blue Sea, like, fan of, I know that as the years have gone by, the CGI hasn't aged well. I am fully aware of that. However, I'm a Deep Blue Sea. I thought about it, but I had looked up because we were doing hits and misses after Dangerous Animals. So I didn't want to go back to some old stuff. I was looking for something that released in 2024, 2025. And again, if you are a fan of shark movies, Hulu probably has one of the better catalogs.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the other streamers. I do know that Under Paris 2 goes into production in September with the hopes of being released in 2026. So we're going to do that.
Yeah, I was researching. There's like 5 shark films that are in production for 2025.
There's shit. I should have put that name down. There's another one that's coming out that I'm like, ooh, that sounds pretty good. All right, so with that, thank you for joining us. Next week we're going to be doing a black comedy horror, and it's called The Blackening. It's actually going to be a crossover of sorts because generally Ricky and I have been doing holiday horror, and this movie kind of makes a little fun of and uses a holiday that we will be doing next Thursday. Lexi will be joining us. So with that, please subscribe, hit follow for updates. Check it out. We have got so many different content. We have any horror flavor you want. I promise you. From the sick like me or to the found like him. With that, it's not say scared. It's ta-ta for now.